Hello, and welcome back to Dragonborn Industries, where I'm joined by Richard from Warrior Prince 3D for our painting challenge. God, my English today. Where we intend to paint up the monster manual, one monster by one monster, 1 hour per mini, no matter the size. So, we're on episode 4 now, I think it is, isn't it, Richard? And we're doing the PLANETAR. So, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Richard, introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Hello folks, I am Richard from Warrior Prince 3D. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, now Shopify, Etsy store and Instagram store and Facebook store. We are your one-stop shop for all your 3D printing needs, be it miniatures, collectibles, cosplay, statues, or just that random little plate that you want to print because you lost it or broke it. We can see what we can do for you.
Oh, look at that. What a salesman, what a pitch. And obviously, I'm Ian, the Dragonborn Bard from Dragonborn Industries. We make dice, we do some 3D printed miniatures and terrain. We are looking to expand some of the terrain soon. Obviously, the dice you can find at www.dragonbornindustries.com and all over my socials, which is at Dragonborn Industries and at the Dragonborn Bard. But we are looking today at our paint challenge, where Richard is going to be painting up a PLANETAR that he has 3D printed himself, which if you want to show that off, feel free. And I'm painting up the WizKids Knowles' one.
So I posted this up on the Instagram just to sort of show it off a bit better because Loot Studio models are incredible.
Yeah,
beautiful detail on them is amazing, and I've been wanting to print this one for quite a while. And as soon as you said about PLANETARs, I was like, right, it's got to be done now.
Nice. Yeah, I love Lit Studios, and I like backed their sci-fi campaigns for so long because obviously trying to get ready for Starfinder campaigns and stuff, I was like, yes, sci-fi minis, but their like fantasy stuff is so good. So yeah,
the sci-fis I haven't sort of looked into yet, but I think except one fantasy bundle, I've got everything.
Wow.
Every single release, including Nidavellir, the Viking one they did, which has got all the long ships and stuff like that, and the massive monsters, which is beautiful.
Wow. So is that like, and they're all ones that you have the merchant license for?
Unfortunately, not. No, but they are beautiful prints and bits and pieces. I can print them if the patterns are paid for.
So if somebody else goes and
drop me a message.
Yeah, if somebody basically goes and buys that themselves, they can send you the STL and you can do it as a 3D printing service, yeah?
That's it. Or if they drop me a message, I can get the file and sort it out from there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, just let me know.
It's very, very cool. So who have we got? Hello, Fluffy Cat. Hi, Dibs. Hi, Dragon Skull. Look at you guys in chat. It's awesome to see you guys back again. Richard, I need you to go to D&D Beyond for me and generate.
You're making me do it already, are you?
Yeah, well, we need to get to it because we have 1 hour and I'm going to set that timer. I want a level 3 random generation of a character, please, because this is going to determine how I run this particular combat or this, let's call it just initiative, this encounter that you'll be entering while we paint up the PLANETARs.
Okay, we have a level 3 warlock, high half elf called Derek.
Okay, I'm going to let you know now. I had 2 options that I was going to go with for this. One was if you had anything other than a warlock, I was going to run this one way, and if you had a warlock, I was going to run it another way. Could you please, as we go through this, have your warlock's patron be some kind of fiend?
Yes, not a problem.
And we will talk about why that is in a second. So obviously PLANETARs, and I won't start the timer just yet, I'll give you a little brief overview of kind of PLANETARs and angels, and then we'll hit the go button and we'll go from there. So PLANETARs are part of the celestials, the angels, and they are usually found on the lawful good side of things. And whereas last week we saw the Deva, which is like a messenger of the celestials, of the gods, the PLANETAR is the weapon. These are like your biblical angels of wrath. These things can come down and basically plague a land that needs to be wiped clean off the map, or they can bring changes in weather. They are the kind of like stereotypical swords and shields of the gods. Also, they can be found to aid people in times of real strife. Gods can send them to aid adventurers or parties that need them, but they specifically specifically tend to hate things like fiends, and they tend to hunt them down. Richard, having generated a warlock, dude.
Let me just double check. I want to just make sure, because obviously it gives you your... It's brilliant. The actual generated patron is the fiend.
Awesome. Perfect. I'm going to start the clock in a minute, and then I will set the scene for you. So, Richard, could you roll initiative, please? The clock has started.
Clock has started. Initiative is rolled. I'm using the digital dice.
Awesome.
Initiative roll is a 13.
13! Ooh! The Planetar, or what you will find out to be the Planetar, has rolled a 12 with its dex bonus of +5. This is a CR 16 creature with some crazy stats for you guys out there. And
16?
Yep.
Oh, God.
So let's see what a level 3 Warlock can do in a minute. But we are going to set the scene with a lovely initiative roll of 19. You are... wherever you come from, wherever your lineage is, something wasn't right growing up. You always hungered for more. You always needed power. You always wanted that little bit extra. And it came to you. Maybe you were adventuring with a party and came across an item. Or maybe just in your dreams one night, the words came to you. And you made a pact with an entity you did not know at the time. And it changed you. It made you stronger. It made you feel more hungry. You needed souls to feed, to gain this power, to gain whatever objectives you needed. But what you didn't know was war was coming. The gods themselves were arguing, and they were choosing their champions. And little did you know that you were chosen by Asmodeus, the fiend of fiends, and the devil, and lord of the 9 hells. You have been travelling the world, gaining power through artifacts and magic. And it has all been leading to this moment. The champions of the 9 hells have been called forth. And you find yourselves on a new plane of existence, merged between the material plane and that of Mount Celeste and Avernus, the first of the 9 hells. Stood next to you, an endless line of beings, creatures, humanoids, monsters, fiends, the front line, the vanguard of what is to come in this battle. Across from you, almost with this like burst of light and glory, you see humans, elves, dwarves, angels, beasts, all surrounded by this kind of glorious light as the 2 armies begin to charge towards each other. Chaos ensues as the lines clash together, and those frontline fighters of, paladins and fighters, barbarians of both sides all kind of clash. Fiends and lower angels and celestials all kind of just together. And you find yourself, as you move forwards, firing off blasts of eldritch power that have been given to you, face to face with a large angel coming your way. You have a few other champions next to you that will also aid you in this fight. However, the Planetar looks at you. I see your evil. And you watch as his eyes, the silvery kind of radiance that is there, they kind of fill with magic, and then you watch as inside them a storm begins to brew, and around them they start to conjure the weather to change. And you watch as like this red-filled sky of the 9 hells meeting the beautiful sky of Mount Celeste in this weird, strange split land. You watch as thunder and lightning begins to crackle in a large area around your group. And he looks at you. You will die here today, servant of the fiends. However, that is his first go out of the way to to control weather. You're up, buddy.
Okay. How many have I got around me, and who, and what sort of types have I got?
We'd say there's probably going to be 5 other. Herbalist 8, welcome to the show. We are currently painting up the Planetars, and Richard is going to be facing off against one. Around you, Richard, there are probably 5 or so other warlocks of the same sort of classification. You've probably seen them in your travels and seen them in your dreams. There's like a dwarf who's like got grey skin and this like perfectly white beard and white eyes, who you watch enlarge to the size of a like small giant next to you. This is probably a Durgar. You see an elf, a full elf, who was probably once a high elf, kind of like highborn like yourself. But again, the hair is like thinned and like almost Gollum-esque in this, like they've just lost all of this, but they're like oozing black ichor out of their eyes and out of their hands, and it almost looks like they're covered in this same sort of stuff, but as a dress. You see a human who doesn't seem to look that evil, but you just watch their eyes glowing red, and you know this is the power of Asmodeus. And probably a gnome, let's say. Really old, like probably on death's doorstep. He is naked except for a small loincloth, and there are just scars of the symbol of Asmodeus, this 5-pointed star just like carved into its flesh. And you watch as it starts to like just almost like really aggressively and angrily just and like it almost looks like the muscles are starting to like tear apart with this like red light.
Knowing in my heart that I am truly the most superior of them all, I bark out orders. I scream at the gnome to charge forth and in front and take the beast, the angel, head on. And I'll order the others to flank around and to each attack from a different side so as to gain the best advantage. Okay. I will order the slimy fellow to go for his wings, debilitate the wretched thing. I myself will go for the main kill.
So you watch as like these other warlocks, these champions of Asmodeus. Oh, I was just thinking I need to go get more coffee and watch Ian to pause. You watch as they like all like nod at you, and it's almost like you don't need to say this out loud. There's this connection between you all where you can hear them almost in your mind, and the voice that comes through is yours and theirs, and it is also that of your Lord and Saviour Asmodeus. It's like, take on this, and like it just warps between you all, and they all start to fan out, and they will all start beginning to cast Eldritch Blast, and I will start making some attack rolls for them, and I'm going to do this as at advantage. I'm going to make 1 attack roll for all of them, and we'll start dealing damage that way. So they are going to go out, and that is a 15 and a 5 rolled. What is your bonus to hit? And I will give them the same.
My bonus to hit is a +3 on the Eldritch Blast.
It's an 18 to hit then, with a 15 plus 3 on the Eldritch Blast. And you watch as this Planetar almost like its wings come in, and it just like knocks these blasts away from those guys. And it still keeps its eyes focused on you, but you can see it's noticing them all come around it. What do you do in this moment?
I am going to cast a spell. I'm going to reach out with both my hands towards it and clench them into fists, attempting to weaken his pathetic little spirit. Can he make me a charisma saving throw? Charisma
saving throw. So, like I said before, this is a CR 16 monster, so this has quite a high charisma. Its saving throws are Con, Wiz, Charisma. Its charisma is a +12, my friend. And this is a spell, yes? Is this a spell effect, yes?
Spell effect, yes.
So, with that, it also has magic resistance. So the Planetar has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. So with an advantage, that is a natural 20 plus 12 for a 32, my friend.
Okay.
So, what is the spell that you're casting?
Bane.
Bane, okay. So if you mark the spell off for me, and then how does it look like when the magic releases from you?
So as my fists clench, shadows begin to appear around my fingers and writhe throughout my hand, as basically the similar shadows then wreathe around him and grasp into his heart and into his mind.
Okay, so as you do this, you watch, it almost lets these shadows crawl up it, and you watch as they like start to go around the wings, and like it almost looks like the wings are coming in, and then you just hear this, if that is all you have. The wings open and this golden light bursts forth, and the eyes are just so piercingly silver and glowing. then you are going to fail your lord. And it just rebukes the magic in its entirety. Anything else you would like to do?
After soiling oneself, I'm going to move in a direction basically out of his line of sight, or at least out of his direct line of view. Hopefully one of the others will then take up the field of attack, as it were.
Yeah, okay, cool. So who would you like to move behind? We had the dwarf, the elf, the human, and the gnome.
I'm going to move behind the dwarf, because the gnome should be basically hopefully running forward to distract this winged pest.
Yeah, cool. So you hide behind this dwarf and it's like, I'll protect you while you get ready. And then you hear the gnome is just like, yep, I'm going to eat your soul. And he's like running towards the Planetar. And the Planetar just laughs. It is the Planetar's go. And you watch as it raises this fucking huge bastard sword. And it's like the size of, you, if not a bit more. And you realise how large this creature is. This angel of divine power is easily 9, 10 foot tall, maybe taller. And the sword itself is a good 6 foot long. And it raises it towards the heavens, looks down at the gnome, and you watch as the heavens open, and it just... a barrage, a beam of fire and radiant golden light just down on top of the gnome. Could you make for me, please, using your stats for the gnome, a dexterity saving throw, please?
Oh, poor gnome. 12.
A 12 is going to fail. So the DCs for a Planetar, when we look at their innate spell casting, so they have like a natural ability to cast spells, and they have ones that like control weather, insect plague, and commune. They can do those once a day without needing the material components. The DCs needed is a spell save of 20. So I'm afraid with a 12, you watch the gnome just completely be engulfed by this fire and radiance, and it is going to take, I need Flame Strike, which is going to be...
While you're looking at that, just in case we have any sort of new DMs or new players and stuff out there, you never need to reveal to any of your players or any other people what the DCs are. You can merely tell them they've passed or failed.
Yes, exactly that, and it's a very good point, Richard. And for those of you who are watching...
Things can be situational as well.
Exactly, and you can change those as the DM as you see fit. You can give circumstance bonuses, you can take away bonuses because of certain storytelling things that make the narrative fit better. The reason I'm letting you guys know and letting Richard know is because we want to show off this monster a little bit. Part of the challenge is that we paint up and also like show you how you can use this in combat or in an encounter. So you're going to take 4d6 fire damage and 4d6 radiant damage.
That's the gnome, isn't it?
Yeah, what's the gnomes... Oh, actually, gnomes have magic resistance, don't they? So, you can roll that again with advantage. So you can roll one more time if you want to.
No, don't.
No, cool. So the fire damage is going to be 2, 4, 5, 6 damage from fire. So rolled 1, 1, 2, 2 on the dice there. And for the radiant damage is a 4, a 2, a 3, and a 1. So that is going to be 4, 8, 9, 10. So that is 14 damage in total. What is your current hit points for you?
Okay, for me, I have 27.
27. So we'll say that the gnome also has 27 and is now down to, it would be...
13.
Yeah, exactly. And you watch as like this beam of light down onto the gnome, and you just hear, it burns! It burns! As the gnome is just engulfed by it. And the Planetar, who just looks down, almost unmoving and unemotional. You serve a lord of lies and pain. You will die here today, those who serve the fiends. And it is your go.
Okay, I'm going to spend my go, and I am going to take a moment out of the fight, and I'm going to withdraw mentally and offer myself out to Asmodeus and implore him to imbue me with his devilish blessing, saying that this battlefield is clearly a one-sided thing. The force of light are clearly using more than they should be able to bring to bear. I need his blessing. I need his power. If he wishes this war to be won, I will need power.
Okay, give me a persuasion check, please, and I will give you advantage on that one because you are currently fighting a Celestial.
Okay, dirty 20.
Okay. You have everything you need at your side. Show me you are worthy of my pity. And you just hear this anger, this writhing voice in your head. But you understand that this is almost advice as you look to the rest of the creatures by your side. This human, this dwarf, this elf, and this gnome. If you consume their souls, you'll get something out of this. If you can get them to come to you, and let's say you can beat them in a charisma check, I will do something.
Okay, well, I'm currently hiding behind the dwarf, so I will place my hand upon his shoulder and attempt to consume his soul.
Okay. Can you make me a charisma... Roll with your charisma and your bonus. What's it called?
My proficiency bonus.
That's the word! It's okay to forget words, guys! And I will do the same for the dwarf. But he doesn't know it's coming. So I will I will roll this at disadvantage.
Did you say I had advantage, or...?
You have advantage, yes.
I have advantage, okay. 22.
Okay, well, the dwarf rolled a 6 and a 7. How does it look like when you put your hand on his back and you watch as the sigil of Asmodeus burns on your hand? How does it look when, like, his essence is sucked away?
As my hand places upon his shoulder and the sigil burns, I'll bring my other hand round to the back of his head, and basically you watch as this sort of ethereal image of him pulls out the back of his body and into my hand.
Okay. You watch as, like, the ethereal image comes out, and also you watch as, like, the skin itself, like, husks away as Lord, you have forsaken. And he just, like, turns to ash and, like, burns away, and you feel your power increase just massively so. You can add 2 levels of Warlock to your class.
Hey.
I will let you quickly do that. And then I would probably say, however, that is your action to do so.
I was going to say that's my action, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a bonus action, I will allow you to do anything else there as well. But I'll let you...
As a bonus action, I'm going to call the gnome back to me.
And he's like trying to run out of the fire. His skin is like falling away, but like his eyes are just these pools of glowing red smoke as you can see Asmodeus being channeled through him. I'm coming! And he's like hobbling over to you. The Planetar is just like looking down like... Yeah, he gets within touching grasp of you.
Okay, and I'll wait till my next turn to do anything.
Awesome. So if you are all done with your turn there, I will take a go with the Planetar. The Planetar looking down at the situation around him, and there's a huge battle going on all over the this plane, and it's endless. Far left, far right, behind you, in front of you. The clashing of good and evil is just immense, and you watch as the Planetar looks towards you. You think this borrowed power will help you? Ha! I will strike down those that you feed upon, and then I will strike you last, agent of evil. And he looks towards, let's say, the human, who, again, doesn't look that different. They just look like a human, and it flies towards them, and it is going to make a multi-attack against them. So part of the actions that a Planetar can do is it can make 2 melee attacks. It has a greatsword, which is a +12 to hit, a reach of 5 foot, and it deals 4d6 + 7 slashing damage. But it also has angelic weapon on it, which is basically like holy weapon, and that is to increase the damage by 5d8. So Dib says, Richard, jump to his flank, use Storm Blast from your hands to propel yourself into the air, landing on his shoulders, and use your legs to pin his wings, lean forwards and grab his arms, blind him by covering his eyes with your beard, and then set your comrades to attack full force at the same time to cause maximum damage. Also, did I choose this hat because it matches my hair? No! It was the first hat I grabbed, and it's my Star Wars one, and I love it. So yeah, he moves over towards the human, and the human, like, doesn't look afraid in certain ways, but, like, can see this powerful entity coming. And this entire time, this Planetar is looking at you, and it just one-handed grabs this sword and just slashes down twice. The first attack is going to be it's a 5 plus a 12 for a 17. What is your armor class?
Nothing. It's 11.
Oh, okay, so that is going to hit. So we'll do that attack first, and that is going to be 4d6. Let's start that with the slashing damage first.
Oh my god.
Low roll. That's 4 plus 5 is 9, plus another 3 for a 12. So that's 12 slashing damage.
If I have any impact on obviously what my colleagues do, upon that hit he will cast Hellish Rebuke.
Perfect. Well done, Richard, because I am sort of going to give you control of these other guys. And yeah, he'll cast Hellish Rebuke. If you want, I'll wait till I deal the damage on this one first, and then we will go from there. So that's the slashing damage. He also has this radiant damage, which is 5d8 on top of it. So you need to hope I roll low here. All right, so that human is gonzoed. Onto... Where are my d8s gone? Ha ha ha. 3. Let's roll those 3 first. So that is a 1, a 2, and a 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, plus another 2. That's an 8 with those ones. So 6 plus 8 is going to be 14. So that's 14 plus 12, 26. How's he looking?
If he was my original hit points, he has 1 hit point left.
He still stands as the slashes both come in, and you watch this radiant light bursts into his chest, and like the sword hits hard, but like you hear the laugh of Asmodeus in your head. Consume him. And Hellish Rebuke goes off. If you would, do I need to make a saving throw for that?
Bear with me, 2 shakes.
So while you look at that,
Hellish Rebuke.
I'm currently working through the greys, and I'm dry brushing through from greys all the way through to whites before I add a green contrast to the skin. And then I might look at detailing the wings a bit better on there. But so far, that's what we have. And it has literally just been dry brushing the whole way. I intend not to wash this mini at all. I'm going to let the contrast do its work on the skin when we get to it. And we'll go from there. So yeah, what is the DC?
Dex saving throw, please.
Dex saving throw. I have advantage because it is a magical effect, is it not?
It is indeed.
So... it's not too bad. However, Dex save is a plus. It's not one of their saving throws, so it's only a plus 5. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, of course it saves.
Yeah, because it didn't take half damage or anything?
So, it takes... it still takes damage.
Okay.
So, bear with me 2 shakes. 2d10 fire damage. 2 or then. So, it's 5 damage as well. So 16 damage, obviously halved, takes 8 damage.
Okay, describe to me how this plain-looking human goes from a plain-looking human to an absolute monster of a fiend in this kind of like desperate attempt to stay alive. How does Asmodeus imbue him with this hellish power?
So as he is struck by the sword down his side, a gash of a wound opening his chest up, he screams out and spits his blood over the Planetar. Screams in Asmodeus' name as you see this strange, deranged, demonic essence almost sort of pour out of him and latch onto the Planetar, burning it with hellish rebuke.
Awesome, I like that a lot. And I think like as that gash opens up, the human almost like turns inside out and that gash becomes a mouth as Asmodeus is like, You kill that darned angel, that blasted beast of wretched power. You hear that in your mind and in the minds of all of the other entities that are around you. And the angel, for the first time, this Planetar looks hurt. Not drastically hurt, but it looks pissed off at it. It's like, filthy, filthy evil. And it just tries to shake this like acidic blood off it as this like gibbering mouth of a human is left just like juddering underneath it, pulsating and oscillating.
Oscillating. Yeah.
If it's ovulating, that's a whole different side
That's
quest.
a whole other kettle of issues.
I really like what you did to me there. Turns out I really like pain. But I believe it's made a slash against it. It's now your go. You can control these other beings and these other...
Right, so I am going to move to the human and absorb his soul, and I'm going to attack with the other three.
Okay, so are you attacking first or are you absorbing soul first?
Well, if he can get a move, he will attack first.
Okay, cool. So let's start working out those other beings first then. Could you roll for me, please, an Eldritch Blast off the human, the gnome, and the elf, please?
Okay, so 3 Eldritch Blasts. I'll do the hits first. So we have a 16. We have a 15. Oh, and we have a 13. I don't think any of them hit.
No. So the armor class of a Planetar is 19. And they have natural armor, which is basically, they're not wearing anything. They have these braces on and stuff, but they aren't armored. This is all kind of like just their immense power that kind of protects them. But you watch again as these blasts come in this one wing in front of its face and just knocks them away. And it just like eye contact on you as you kind of like move underneath this like just hovering off the ground 5-foot Planetar, and you kind of like put your hand out, I assume, towards the gibbering wreck of a human that's left. And how do you...
And I will try and do the same again, touch him, or at least if I can get close enough.
Okay.
And absorb him.
Can you make me a charisma check, please, plus proficiency bonus, and can you let me know what was the original charisma score that you had when you were level 3?
I've just plussed it, so it's now... my original one was 12, so it was plus 1.
Plus 1, okay, cool. I will make a charisma saving throw. It's seen you do this before with the last one, but it also wasn't too bothered. So this is going to be a flat roll for me. Okay.
And I have advantage, don't I?
You do have advantage, with the blessing of Asmodeus to consume these beings.
19 and a dirty 20.
You absolutely devour that, as I got an 8 for the human. How does it look when you consume this gibbering mess of an eldritch horrors?
Same again. So with the mouth and the teeth that have opened up, I will basically place my hands inside it and draw out the essence that had begun to leak through it, and basically consume his soul, pull it out of the body itself, and almost I will take on the aspect of this gibbering mouth, and on my left shoulder, the mouth will open up on there.
Oh, nice! I like that a lot. So, as you kind of pull this like ethereal like soul out, and it looks like the human as you pull like the soul out, this astral projection almost. It looks at you and it almost gives itself to you, this human, and it just like floats into your body in this kind of like sucking motion towards you. Its essence just becomes this red light that fills into you, and you watch as like the gibbering, blubbering eldritch mess like undulates upwards and just then collapses in a pool of like mess. You can gain another 2 levels in Warlock, please.
Beautiful.
And while you do that, I will talk about where I'm at. So I'm going for a heavier dry brush of Korax White now on top of the wings and on the skirt there, so that when I add the contrast to the skin, it should hopefully change everything to a greenish blue, but the rest should remain this grey and white. And then I'm going to go heavier white on the actual wings themselves and on that skirt. How are you getting on with your mini?
I'm getting there. I've got the base coat of the flesh done, just and half the wings down. I might have to use the airbrush just to dry them slightly because I've gone a bit thick on the contrast.
Oh, really?
Just trying to get some nice blues and some bits and pieces down on this now.
Nice. That's very, very cool. So, let me know when you've added those levels, and then I'll tell you what the Planetar does.
Okay, with the storm and stuff here, would you call it dim light?
No, there is absolutely perfect light at the moment. The storm was more theatrical, let's say. I wanted to show off one of its abilities at the start.
Okay. Do I gain back my spells when I
yes, absolutely.
Absorb?
You feel Asmodeus kind of like every time you consume one, he's like, good, consume the souls, or I will consume yours. Feed them to me.
Okay, I will also, with my new skills and bits and pieces, I cast Mage Armor upon myself.
Cool, is that as a bonus action?
That is at will.
At will, perfectly. Perfect.
Yeah, at will.
Awesome. So you cast Mage Armor upon yourself, and how does it look?
So basically, as this mouth opens up on my shoulder, the teeth will glow and a strange green essence spreads across my body, forming out this strange-looking, almost sort of spiky armor that protrudes from my shoulders, chest, and my legs and thighs.
Nice! That's awesome. That's really badass. So, you kind of like call forth, you suck in the soul. The Planetar, who didn't quite do enough to finish off this human before you managed to capture the soul of it and devour it for your Lord and Saviour, looks at you. Turns out, suppose I will have to be quicker than that. Knowing that you are going to try and absorb the next two souls, it looks towards the elf and towards the... what's left? It was the elf.
Elf and the gnome. The gnome should have been running back to me.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So the gnome is like pretty much next to you, and he looks at you. He's like, yes, Lord, help me, Lord, please. I'd like to consume them too. But you don't hear an answer. You're like, Lord. I will give him a persuasion check, but it's at disadvantage because right now you are the vestige. Yeah. No. With a 6, that's not going to happen. He looks to you, and there's like almost like a moment of panic with this kind of like obviously being forsaken in certain ways, just to be fed. But he sort of understands and knows. The Planetar looks down at the gnome, who is pretty fucked up. He's at half health, and he will. Yeah, he's just going to go straight for the. Straight for the weapon attack again, actually, because I think that's probably best since we're in melee with him. So he's going to make 2 attacks. The first one is going to be a 9 plus 12, so that's probably going to hit. And then the other one is,
I should imagine so.
An 18 plus, so it's absolutely going to hit with a 30. So both of those is going to be 4d6 to begin with. That is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, plus... the fight, yeah. He's not going to save this, is he? Because he's on half health.
Yeah, he's on 13 health.
So with this kind of like first plunge, he just looks down at you, and the first strike just straight through the top of the gnome's head and down through his like body, and it's almost like he skewered him like a kebab, and just like the gnome is like, kill him for our Lord, as it just like falls apart, and you watch. Yeah.
I was to say, for my reaction, can I smile at the Planetar, thank him for saving me the effort of the resistance, and attempt to draw the soul anyway?
Well, you smile at the Planetar, and you attempt to draw the soul, and the Planetar looks at you, he's like, this one's soul will not be yours. And you watch as the Radiant Light rebukes you and pushes you back ever so slightly, enough that you can't grab hold of him. And like, as it's melting away in this like black ichor almost, it just... collapses onto the ground, split in half, that then liquefies, and there's nothing you can do. You cannot capture this one's soul. It looks at you. That first attack was enough to damage it. It is going to make the second strike on you.
Thank you.
That is only a 2. I rolled double 2s there. In fact, I shouldn't be rolling with advantage. I will take just one of those 2 anyway. And that is a plus 12. That is going to be a 14 to hit.
It doesn't hit, because I believe Mage Armor gives me 15.
So he strikes down towards you now. The ichor is still like flying off the sword. There's radiant damage coming towards you. And the armor just almost catches it and yeah, he's like, ah. And you can see him starting to look a little bit panicked. Well, I say not panicked. He looks like you are now a foe that might cause him some issue. And he looks towards the elf with this dripping black dress all over them. And they will start flying towards the elf. Can you make, if you want to, you can make an attack of opportunity.
No. Actually, no, yes, I will.
Do it.
It won't be a spell, so it'll only be a weapon attack. Anyway.
Only if you had Warcaster could you do that as a spell.
No, I don't have the.
You know what?
I couldn't choose it in the feats because of the restrictions.
You can have Warcaster. It's absolutely fine. You are getting power from us. You feel Asmodeus now. Get him now.
Okay, then I will use Warcaster to cast a spell at him.
Okay, what would you like to cast?
I am going to cast. Helps if I've got to manage additional spells, haven't I? Because I've gone up a level because I need the 4th ones. Okay.
So for those of you listening, the reason I've let Richard do that is because obviously this is like a tiny little one-shot while we're painting up, but this is what we mean by story-based in circumstance. You can change things as you go. And obviously putting a level 3 character up against the Planetar he was never going to win. But to make it more interesting for Richard and not as demoralising, the idea of him consuming these extra souls to give him those extra powers at least makes it drawn out rather than one hit and he dies at level 3 in one strike.
Okay, if you would be so kind, as he begins to fly away, I'll draw. My hands will sort of reach out into the area around me. I'll draw forth the necrotic energy that I will wash over this thing. Can he make me a Constitution saving throw?
Constitution saving throw. So, Constitution is one of their saving throws. So they get a plus 12 to this. He has an advantage because it is a magical effect. That is a 17 plus 12. That is going to be a 29.
Yeah, he obviously saves, but it means I still do half damage. So...
Okay.
Okay, so he is going to take Blight.
Yes!
At 4th level.
Yes, roll it up.
He takes 35 damage. Obviously, that's got to be halved.
Okay, so 35 halved to 17.
Is what? 17, yeah.
Yeah. And you watch as how does it look when you grab hold? Life Gambit, hello everyone, welcome to the chat. We are doing our Monster Manual Painting Challenge where we have 1 hour, 1 mini, where we are painting up as quick as we can the monster, but at the same time I make Richard roll a level 3 character and roll initiative against it. He has managed to suck in the souls as a warlock of 2 of his other counterparts to level up a bit against this, and it's now become more of a fair fight. I'm painting up the Knowles' WizKids Planetar, which I'm heavily dry brushing before I contrast, and Richard is painting up a 3D print that he can do through his 3D printing service. How does it look, Richard, when you cast Blight?
So as my hands draw out to the side and draw in the necrotic energy, it's almost as though bony, tender arms reach up towards this Planetar and begin to absorb the life force from him.
Yes, and it does, and there's a look of shock on this angelic face of war. It's usually so stoic. It turns to you and it's brow furrows. Ugh, evil magic, you will pay. My lord will strike you down. I am his wrath, his vengeance. You are nothing but evil. But he knows that he must stop you from absorbing the soul of the next being.
And I will use my movement. Actually, no, it's not my go yet. As any reaction, so tell a lie.
Yep, no, he starts to fly over to the elf, and he sort of lands on the ground and points the sword one-handed towards the elf, and then looks back at you. I will slay him before you can absorb his power too. But it is your go.
Okay. As part of my go, I'm going to make the elf use one of his abilities, and he is going to Misty Step towards me.
Yes, Richard! He doesn't need to do shit about that. There's nothing he can do to stop that. He has no counterspell or anything, so he Misty Steps past your blocking opponent here, and he. How's it look when he Misty Steps? What power of Asmodeus grants them?
Basically, as this planetar is descending upon him, the black ichor that is surrounding this person begins to sort of spread out in front of him as he draws down behind it and then focuses solely on the place he wants to be. And all of a sudden, you just hear this slimy pop as he reappears where he needs to be, running towards me with his arms splayed out. This ichor spreading around as he surrenders himself to me.
Okay, so as he's like running towards you, he knows what's up.
That's it. So Misty Step's a bonus action.
It is indeed.
I'm going to be evil here and say, can I use its action to sacrifice its soul to me?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say that you need to use your action to absorb it.
Yeah.
However, it can get close enough to you. It will willingly, so you will automatically pass on the charisma check, so there's no need to make that one. So you can start thinking about the level up if it should so happen to. But you are going to have to, I'm afraid, I would say.
That's fine. And then what it will do with its action then is to cast a spell of its own.
Yeah, okay, cool. So remember, this is one of the lower ones, so this is still a level 3.
It's just going to be an Eldritch Blast, and that's it.
Okay, cool. So it's like it runs towards you, this elf. He's like, yes, for our lord, for Asmodeus, I give myself freely to you. And it's still got this like really like high elf kind of like voice to it, and you can see it's almost like beginning to like be sucked into your hand as it turns and it casts this Eldritch Blast, and this black oozy ichor, which now you see is like tinted with the red light of Asmodeus, fires towards it. I will allow it to make 2 blasts because it is giving itself up freely. If you would like to make 2 blasts against the Planetar.
Okay, we've got a miss. And a 19.
A 19 is its armor class, so you hit. If you would like to roll damage for your Eldritch Blast, please.
Oh, it rolled off. It's a whole 7 damage.
7 damage. You watch as like it's not expecting the second blast because they haven't been able to do this so far, and it puts the wing down again. This time it's the opposite wing, whoosh, to like block it from hitting it, and it just pushes this black ichor away. What it didn't realise was that this was a trick of Asmodeus to allow it to have 2 attacks, and the second one strikes it square in the chest, and it like almost like splatters up Venom style this ichor all over it and sort of stays there. I will also give you Hex on that one. So that is now almost Hexblade's cursed, I would say. So you now crit on a 19 or a 20, and you get, I believe, bonus damage?
D6 bonus damage, isn't it, Hex?
Yes. So I will give you that there on top of it as a little gift from Asmodeus.
Oh, nice.
And I assume your action...
my action is then to absorb his soul.
How does it look? As this being freely...
As he sort of begins to offer himself up for me, and this black ichor sort of spreads away from him and out, I will absorb his soul and his body into mine as the black ichor basically venoms over me. All that's left of him is this black ichor, and as he's running towards me, the ichor will spread out and across and over the back of me.
Nice.
Joining with the mouth on my shoulder.
Awesome. I like that a lot. And... you just hear this, good, hungry, good. And you hear the thanks, almost, of this elf as well, as it kind of joins your collective minds. It's like, thank you, my lord. And you can add 3 levels now of Warlock.
We have a time check as well.
You've got 17 minutes
Oh, bloody hell.
to get done, and I'm doing all right. For those of you who are watching the painting bit of the show, I am now adding Cruxigore scales on top of my dry brush of greys through to whites. And the highest white I went to on the skin was Corax white. And the highest I've gone to on the wings is White Scar. And so far, that's the sort of skin tone that we've got. If I had more time, I would go in and I would add some maybe some different greens, some like army scale green or something like that, or military green, just on the top of those pectorals and muscles. But the point of this 1 hour, 1 mini is to be tabletop ready, and that's what I'm going for here. So, have you added your 3 levels of Warlock?
I have indeed.
And what level are you now?
I'm now level 10.
You are level 10. This is a fucking good level. And hopefully you should have some decent hit points and you should have a decent amount of stuff to you.
I do indeed.
The Planetar looks at you. You think you are strong. You think your lord, your deceivious master, your puppet string controller can save you from the light of the Dawn Father. I will strike you down, and I will end you forever. You will become nothing but a husk of a soul, fed upon by that does not care for you like my lord cares for its creations and its beings. It moves towards you, full speed, sword in hand, and it will cast on its roots towards you Insect Plague. So, you watch as its eyes glow, and I spill contrast paint everywhere.
Oh no.
It's fine, we're all good. We're all good.
So
Insect Plague.
I did that last time.
We'll take it in turns to do it. I actually need to bring up the thing from the book for this because I actually don't get to cast this spell very often. So, it is a 5th level conjuration spell that it can do at will. It does not need to worry about the casting time.
I counterspell.
Okay. What level is
and
counterspell?
And because I'm a warlock, I automatically cast at 5th level.
You automatically cast at 5th level, which is fucking awesome. So I need you to... This is a 5th level spell. It counters it. Straight up. Dude, that's awesome. What a play. It looks at you. Its action wasted. It flies towards you, sword in hand, and it's just about to strike. It is your go.
I'm just trying to add the spells quickly.
For those of you who spill contrast paint, I am using a pipette. And I'm just going to get up as much of that as I can. And I'm going to waste God knows how many minutes doing it. In fact, actually, what I might do... those of you who've done it know the pain. Well.
It's a horrific pain.
At least it's not normal oil. I'm just going to pull from that one for the time being, because I don't have long to paint today. And at least it's on the mat and not on my table. So, you cast the counterspell. How's it look when you cast counterspell, by the way?
So as he begins to sort of conjure his magic, I will have shadows writhing around my hands that sort of almost reach out and crush whatever magic he's trying to attempt himself.
Yeah, okay. And it's almost like you watch as these, like, insects are starting to, like, crawl out of the ground and buzz around, and the shadows just suck them all back in, feeding on us all. Yep, Dragon Skull, it does happen to us all. It does indeed.
Okay, so I'm going to launch a volley of Eldritch Blasts at him until he gets close.
Do it. And he's getting right upon you now. And I assume you've got quite a few Eldritch Blasts.
3 beams now.
3 beams. And remember, he is...
Sorry. 3 beams are only at 11th. 2 beams.
2 beams. Okay.
So we have got a 17 and a 19.
The 19 will hit. Roll damage, please.
He takes a whole point of damage.
1 point. Oh, man, that sucks. I'm so sorry. However, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. As he comes towards you, you fire these Eldritch Blasts off. The first one, he just spins through the air and dives out of the way. The second one, he almost lets strike. And you watch as, like, the wing is coming in to protect himself, and he just actually laughs. Even now, you are not strong enough for the Morning Lord. And this golden light kind of like shudders around him, and like the Eldritch Blast hits, but it just doesn't do as much damage as you were hoping it would. As he flies towards you, sword in hand. If my magic won't do this, then by the sword I will cut you down. And he will make the 2 attacks against you. If you have anything to defend yourself, now is the time, Richard. The first attack is going to be a 9 plus 12, which is going to be a 21.
That will hit.
21 will hit.
I have mage armor up, but it will not do anything like that. Okay,
we'll do the damage first. So the 4d6 on that one there is going to be 1, 2, plus 5 is 7, plus another 4 is going to be 13. And then the 5d8.
14.
5d8 radiant damage. It's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14... 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points of radiant damage as it strikes into you. And it's just like, and like the mouth tries to grab it, the black ichor tries to hold it back, but it pushes through it, and you just like hear Asmodeus like, no, in your head. Kill him now, you pitiful being.
Charming, isn't it? Okie dokie. Right.
So I'm going to move on to the gold now on mine, and I'm going to hit it up with some Retributor armor. You'll go, buddy.
Okie dokie. I'm going to cast Hallow.
Yes! Tell me what needs to happen.
And I cast it at my feet.
Okay.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to attempt to grapple the Planetar as the area begins to basically rot him.
Awesome. So let me know what happens with the Hallow spell, because again, it's one of those ones that I don't get to use or see very often.
Hallow, basically... I touch a point and infuse an area around it with holy or unholy power. The area can have a radius of up to 60 feet, and the spell fails if the radius includes an area already under the effect of a Hallow spell. The affected area is subject to the following effects. First, Celestials, Elementals, Fays, Fiends, and Undead can't enter the area, obviously depending on either or, holy or unholy. Creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it. Any creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area. You can exclude one or more of those types of creatures from this effect.
Okay. So...
Second, you can bind an extra effect to the area. Choose the effect from the following list, or choose an effect offered by the GM. Courage, Darkness, Daylight, Energy Protection, Energy Vulnerability, Everlasting Rest, Extra Dimensional Interference, Fear, Silence, or Tongues. So... I'm going to make Energy Vulnerability, and I'm going to make him vulnerable to Eldritch Energy.
Well, I was also going to say, if you would like to choose something to happen here with this condition, because I mean, it's one hell of a spell, and having the ability to control it, and it says there, GM's choice kind of thing, so allowing the GM to tell a story there. I'm going to let you decide if you want to go with the energy vulnerability, or if you want to cause a different effect or something narrative.
I would, instead of the energy vulnerability, I'd like it that basically it withers it, if it would be possible. So basically the very energy around it, while it is in the area of effect, it is slowly having its life leached and replaced with fiendish energy. So it's slowly being corrupted and becoming something else.
Yes. No worries, Dragon Skull. We will see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, catch up either on the VODs or on YouTube when this goes up, hopefully in the next couple of hours. Yes, so let's say I will give it a charisma saving throw. It would normally have advantage. Because of this spell and it being a holy creature, I will give it disadvantage to make it a plain flat roll. And if it fails, I will let you have 10d10 of damage off its hit points. As Asmodeus channels you, it's like, no! Kill this thing! Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What's your spell save DC?
15.
16, yeah?
15.
15. Ooh, so I get a plus 12.
It's not great.
No, so I get a plus 12 on this, and I need essentially a really fucking low number here. It's a 10. It just manages to stave off this ability. I will let you half that damage. So 10d10 and then half it.
Okay, on you kinds.
The clean spot on my mat looks great. Yeah, I've just done a big clean up because it's all over my hands and stuff, and I don't want to...
Okay, it takes 77 points of damage.
77 halved is going to be 35, 36, 37 points of damage. It looks hurt. You watch as like this magic grips it, the Hallow spell. It's like, no! It turns. I can't fail, my lord! And with the Hallow spell in place, knowing it can't remain here, it begins to flee and fly away from you. And you hear Asmodeus.
Okay,
Such pitiful
my
creatures.
last spell slot then.
Yeah, do it.
You
get an attack of opportunity, and then you can take a turn.
I get a spell because of my Warcaster. So what I will do is I can. It's gonna be okay. Hopefully he's still weakened. I'm going to cast Hold Monster at 5th level.
Yep, I will once again do this at disadvantage because of the Hallow spell, because you've got a rather large radius on this one, and he is weakened. And then I will also, so that makes it a flat roll, and then we'll go from there. So again, what is the saving throw?
It's a Wisdom saving throw.
Wiz is a +6 on this one.
I'm still going to try.
It's +6. Actually, no, it's one of its main saving throws, so it has a +11 to this. Oh, that's out of the thing. So we'll do that again. That's an 18, I'm afraid, buddy.
No, that's fine. It was worth an attempt.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, it was worth an attempt. But it does begin, I'm afraid, like it grabs hold of it. These shadows. I mean, how does it look actually? I'll let you describe it.
So as the ooze, the black ooze that is undulating over my body, I will literally summon it forth, and it will reach out as 2 tendrils over my shoulders to try and lash around its wings and pull it back down.
Yeah.
And hold it in place.
And it looks like it's going to work, but then like you see it like casting some kind of prayer, and or just like making some kind of prayer, and you watch as like gold light just bursts against these tendrils, and like it manages to like begin flying away even further. What's the radius on that Hallow, by the way?
60 feet.
60 feet, okay, cool. So the Planetar does have a flying speed of 120 feet. So at this moment, it is going to escape. And I will pull you out of initiative there. But you hear your lord in your mind saying, we will follow that one. And you watch as it's running away. It almost looks like some of that power it had is diminishing, and almost like it's failed in its duty. Asmodeus is like, track it down. I want it as mine. And you are conjured away as a spell begins to summon around you, and the symbol of Asmodeus brightly lights from underneath your feet, and you are pulled from this huge battle at the border of the river of blood and sticks, and of the lines between good and evil, and you find yourself back on the material plane. Find this being. Collect more souls and destroy it. And we will come out of initiative there. You didn't die!
I didn't die, I lived!
How was that for you?
Yeah, beautiful, mate.
Yeah, well done. I mean, the idea to like call out to Asmodeus gave it such a different vibe for me, because you have 2.5 minutes left, by the way. Where's my glue? I'm going to run from the computer. I need to get my glue. Because I am almost there on mine. How are you doing with your mini?
Yeah.
So for those of you out there who want to paint a mini in an hour, don't do it while rolling initiative. Because, oh my god, it is distracting. But hopefully, for those of you who are watching and those of you who tune in onto YouTube, that will give you an idea of like what you can do with a Planetar. And for Richard, I was going to do this one of 2 ways. If you were anything but a warlock, I was going to give you the Planetar as an ally.
Okay.
And have you fight against a fiend. And that way we could show the capabilities of the Planetar as an ally, as they can be a phenomenal ally. Dibs, I was so enthralled I forgot to ask painting updates. Yeah, and I was trying to give them as we went, but I too was kind of getting into that one. So far, so I'm adding my own base to this. And I'm doing it on a large base because they are a large base mini. And so far, with the addition of the contrast on top of the dry brushing, we now have those skin tones in place. I haven't managed to get to do the eyes, and we've only just got the gold into place. But that so far is my Planetar. I do need to, however, unfortunately go in and go over the top of those wings again, where I dropped my contrast paint. But yeah, and so Richard, for you as a DM and as a player as well, have you ever like had chance to use a Planetar in games?
So I had my own version of a Planetar, effectively. So my massive undead campaign I had going. One of the ending big sort of fights of the last chapter was a massive attack on a big camp sort of thing. So there's these basically like a traveling community, and they came to this one place in the center. So it was literally just a dozen campsites around this one
Like a caravan.
sort of central area that was a ruin, but they basically kitted out.
Yeah.
Very sort of Mongol tribes, horsemen, archers, stuff like that.
Nice.
And basically, they were actually watching over a piece of soul of Gaia.
Yes.
So basically, her sacrifice split her into pieces, and she the vestige of her soul is basically in this place.
My friend.
And the undead were coming for it, because also what is here is a phylactery that is protected by the soul, and basically nothing can get to it.
I must tell you that the timer is up.
Say again?
The timer is up. So yeah, sorry, carry on. There's a phylactery here.
And... the phylactery was here. So I have my Celestials. There are only a certain amount left. And they are a family basically called the Doors. So Eben Dor was this very powerful bloke that had been sort of helping and stays on the sidelines, but basically he turned up, revealed his true form, his wings sort of spread out, and he fought with them. But several party members died, and so did there was basically breaches in several of the gates. So he sacrificed his wings, so every feather then became the ability to resurrect a soul.
Oh, nice.
So he then sacrificed that so that the others could live. And unfortunately, storyline based, he fell. And he was defeated by the Eldeus, the Lich, and she converted him to an undead Planetar.
Yes, that's so badass. So... Yeah. Very, very cool. My guys haven't faced a Planetar yet, and actually this is my first time running a Planetar, so that was quite fun for me. However, let's have a look at what we've done paint-wise, because obviously we've only had an hour, and that's the point of this challenge, is to try and get a miniature ready for D&D, table ready in 1 hour. And I would certainly say that mine is table ready. I am going to go in and repaint this afterwards and do some highlights and some extra bits, because I want to add some like lighter tones to that skin. But Richard, if you want to show yours off first and see where we got to.
I would say I need an hour and a half to get mine table ready, because I've managed to do most of the bits and pieces, cover, sort of table prepped bits and pieces. The wings just need a dry brush and the gold armor tips on them. But I managed to get the blue down for the cloak, burgundy for the sort of the shirt and the inner bits, the little bits of gold sort of dotted out on the shoulder plates, the anklets. But I missed getting the brown down for the feet wraps. Other than that, it shouldn't have been too bad. And the hilt for the sword, managed to get the most of the flesh done with a little bit of the lighter tones done, just not the glow on the eyes.
That's so cool. Yeah, I haven't managed to do the eyes either. So I was quite cheeky. I already had this base ready to go, and I just wanted to give it something a bit different. But the mini itself, again, I spent a lot of time just kind of like dry brushing through all the different greys, just to get, a semblance of white coming in from the dark. I was hoping to go a bit further with some airbrushing white, dry brushed on at the top, and then to go underneath, as Dib said last week, to do gold underneath the wings. And I was going to dry brush that in, but I just ran out of time. The skin, again, I went a bit too heavy with the contrast there. But what I would do after that is to then highlight with probably like an army green or something like scaly hide, which is like, you should see like the highlights on the picture next to us. It's quite close to that. And that's probably what I will go in and do at some point. But I will take pictures of this at this point, and I'll put them up on my Instagram, which is obviously at the Dragonborn Barn, and I'll probably mostly do them on at Dragonborn Industries. Richard, where will you post your picture, and where can people find you?
I will post mine up on the Instagram, which will be at WarriorPrince3D, which will then lovingly flow over to the Facebook page as well, so you can catch me there as well, at WarriorPrince3D. And I'll take a picture, and I will try and get it finished off as well, because I do really want to finish this model, because it looks beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the Loot Studios one, isn't it?
Yeah, Lit Studios.
Okay, and you...
I was tempted to print a 75mm one, but I thought, nah, might be a bit too much.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing. I mean, the Planetar is a large space creature, so, you know, in-game 10 foot by 10 foot. And...
Elite Studios ones at the 32mm, I up their scale by 3 clicks anyway.
Yeah.
It still exists within the same sort of space, as it were. It just helps with painting and looks a lot better.
Yeah. What is that one? So look at my Insta. The Kairos Fate I did for Aetos Wings were Dry Brush with Dry Griffin. Oh, nice. I will check that out, Dibs. That's awesome. Oh, thanks. Yeah, awesome, lads. Well done. That's awesome. Yeah, it has been really fun, this one. I really enjoyed that combat and like being able to like level you up as we go. And well done.
Yeah, that was good giggle.
I mean, well done for being able to keep up with that as well, because like it's hard to like level up on the spot, sort out hit points, sort out spells. And
it's feature spells and bits and pieces like that. So it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so you did well. I like thinking on your feet. And obviously, next week we're looking at the last of the Angels, which is the Solar. And I'm not aware of any WizKids Solar minis, so I'm going to have to ask Richard for a print on this one.
I will get looking.
Yeah, as next week we'll probably just be painting up his printed minis. And that'll be the Solar. Richard, I'm going to let you know now it's a CR21.
Okay. I will ask for a request then.
You can ask.
I will create a random character. I'll keep it completely random. Can I have 5 magical items?
Yes. Yes, I think that is absolutely fine. Herbalist 8. That was fab. Thanks, guys. No, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. You know, if you liked what you see, hit follow, hit the likes. Go check out Richard on Instagram, because the dude's just got some awesome printing. And we played together in some alien campaigns with a group called the Band of Badgers. And hopefully we'll be coming together in some other campaigns soon enough as well through them. Possibly some stuff here with Dragonborn Industries. But actually running this for him, for you as a little sort of like mini campaign as we're going to go through this and like being able to do combat each week. Give us a nice little taster of D&D each week. Dibs, when's the next one? Richard, are you happy to go next Thursday?
Happy to go next Thursday.
Awesome. I'm going to double check my calendar.
If Herbalist is in the chat, hello to you, and thank you very much for your book. If anyone else wants to grab one of these, it's well worth a good look into.
Yeah,
I haven't got through a lot of it yet, but it's lots of mini little stories, and they're brilliant. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. If I'll talk to you after this once we come offline, Richard, and I'll ask what that is, and I'll go check it out, because that looks really cool. And thanks for joining in
pop a link
on chat. Yeah. To which end? So next week will be the Solar. We'll be back. We will be back next Thursday, midday, 12 o'clock UK time, to paint up a Solar, another large angel, before we move on to the animated objects the following week.
We will get this one finished as well. That's the goal.
Hey, I'm table ready here. I'm good to go. But the Solar is there's skin tones on there, so we're going to be focusing heavily on that. Next Thursday, 12 o'clock. Richard, is there anything else you want to put forward? Anything else you want to say?
No, check out the Instagram for bits and pieces. I'm going to try and get the Giants uploaded this week, because there are a new cast and play set, which is literally a whole release of Giants, and oh my god, they're so beautiful I could cry. It's just getting them photoed and getting the bases printed out. I've got Captain America currently painting up at the moment, that will be available for purchase painted, and also versions of it unpainted. Statues will be hopefully sort of coming a bit more up to the Etsy store, but anything obviously you do want printed that isn't on the Etsy store, just drop me a message, and 9 times out of 10 I've got it in the library.
Awesome. Once more, thanks for tuning in to Dragonborn Industries. It means so much for us, for you guys to take part and to just be here and watch us be nerds on the internet. And until next Thursday, have some fun. We'll see you then.
Enjoy.
Bye!